Are here with Limberlost band chat. My name is Brittany. This is Mike. We also got Steve on here, and thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, this is Bonnie from Innocence Torn, and welcome back to Band Chat. Today, you guys, I got another banger for you. Sitting down with the one and only Chemical Annihilation. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I know everybody here in the Pacific Northwest. We know who you are, but for those who may not, can you please tell us who you are, what you do in the band, and how long have you been a group together?
Sure. I guess I'll start. I'm on the end. I'm Toby Anderson. I play guitar. I've been in the band since what we restarted, which was 2017. I think. I don't remember. That was a while ago.
I'm Mike Fowle, the drummer and the lead vocals. Jeff and I kind of started the band back in about 1988.
Yeah, well, I'm Jeff. I play bass now. Back when Mike and I started in the end of the 80s, I was playing guitar. But when he resurrected the thing, I switched over to bass and switched my right-handed to left-handed playing.
So, I mean, with that stated, you guys have been in our music community for as long as I can remember. So you started in the 80s, but did you have like a leave of absence and then rekindle the magic somewhere?
Oh, yeah. You guys broke up in, what was it, 91? 91, yeah. And we've all been in a million bands and done all sorts of stuff besides thrash metal, but it's, kind of the first love is what you kind of go back to.
Yeah, it was, what, a 30-year break. Take a little vacation for a while.
Yeah.
So what was the motivation behind getting Chemical Annihilation back and running again?
Well, Mike and I and Paul Nichols, who isn't with us anymore, we were all playing in Crazy Like Me together, and which was a lot of fun, but we were like, we missed the old days of the metal, and we're like, maybe we should start doing that again, and that's kind of just where it grew out of, getting back together, and then we started doing it. It was really well received that we were back, and we played a lot of cool shows. Got to give a shout out to Bill Brewer, who was in Arachnid, who was playing bass for us when we started back up, but because of medical stuff, he had to retire, and now Jeff's with us, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Sounds like we have another guest in the background. They must like metal too.
Oh, he does.
So guys, I know that you guys have had a lot of experience in our industry. What keeps you going? What keeps you wanting to continue to live this dream?
Sure. The love of music. I mean, it's definitely not the money.
For real. I completely understand that. I have so many things I want to talk to you about, but one of which just got brought to my attention, and I have to ask you about it. It's not something I normally would have chosen, except for I was so blown away. You guys wrote a book. You wrote a book? Rusted Metal, A Guide to Heavy Metal and Hard Rock Music in the Pacific Northwest. This one is 1970 to 1985. Who wrote that?
Oh, we didn't write it. We were just in it.
Oh, you were just in it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. In it, though, it really does describe a kind of a huge timeline of music in this industry, and it really shows a lot of bands in that time that no longer exist. And can you tell me, even still, it's very interesting that you even be in the book. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
The end of the 80s were pretty amazing here in the Pacific Northwest for metal and for music. I mean, you would get, besides a metal band on every corner, you would get like 10 of them together and go down to the old Starry Night, which is now the Roseland, and have local metal shows that would draw, 300 to 500 people.
Or 1,000.
Or 1,000. And there was no internet back then. You know, the good old days, we would just go out and paper all of the telephone poles with flyers, and you put them over the bands you don't like, and they would come and cover yours up. But I mean, it was really cool. Just the scene was incredible. How many bands there were?
Yeah.
You know, I'd actually like to iterate on that. I happened to be in the audience back in the day. Some of the bands that are listed there, like, you know, I was absolutely amazed by the industry here in the Pacific Northwest has definitely changed over the years. I do remember, you know, going out for bands like Arrogance and Amaze and Expiracy and you guys, and you're absolutely right. It not only was the crowds bigger, but we didn't have the same connections now as we did then, where we would just find a telephone pole and we'd know who was playing next week. Right? Or even worse, you would get, one of your friends being like, hey man, I'm playing next week. I need you to, go out and help me, toilet paper the whole town. So many things have changed. What for you in the industry has changed the most since you guys have been from that time to this time?
That's a good question. I mean, from my point of view, the ease of being able to get music out is so much simpler now. You know, everybody has a home studio set up or whatever. I don't know. I mean, that's cool, but at the same time, there's so much more now. It's like it's harder to get noticed because, there's a zillion great bands out there, and sometimes it's really hard to find them.
Yeah, it's just the overload of the number of bands that are, out there for everybody's attention. It's hard to make a mark and get noticed. I really find it hard to get the people to come out to the show. We would just have house parties before, and the house would be packed full of people. Wherever you were playing, it didn't matter. Everybody would come and show up, and now you really got to hustle, to make sure everybody knows about your show and they're going to show up. The crowds are still absolutely amazing. The support they have for the bands. Very true. Without them, there is no metal, there is no band. But they make their way out to the show. They're desperate to support the band any way they can. Buying merch, since selling music isn't a thing anymore. Music's free, and it's just selling the merch and seeing the bands that play live.
All right.
I don't mean to laugh about that. That is so true, though. I mean, I see a meme online that says, I'm not a musician, I'm a professional shirt salesman. Or
T-shirt vendor. Yeah,
exactly.
So, tell me a little bit about your music. You guys are thrash, but you guys also have some really amazing talent behind that. Tell me a little bit, and everybody else, a little bit about your music, and what your motivation is behind doing it.
Sure.
Go for it, Tobe.
Well, when it comes to writing the songs, it's just about, you think about if you were out in the pit, what would catch your excitement, and that's what we try to write, is what things that sound cool to us, and then hopefully they sound cool to other people. Topic-wise, Mike writes almost all the lyrics. You don't want me writing lyrics, it'd be a bad thing. But yeah, it just has to sound cool. It doesn't necessarily have to fit in any one box. We're thrash, but we also have some death elements to it, and that's pretty much, and maybe some speed metal in there, but not too much.
One comment we get from some of the people that have recently discovered us is, hey, you guys don't sound like any of the other bands that are around. And I kind of mentioned we're from way back there, man. We're a bunch of old guys.
Right.
And I would say we're all getting up there. It is kind of strange being quote unquote grandpa age and playing with, bands that are in their early 20s. It's kind of a trip, but the metal community being so accepting, they're like, hey, go for it, grandpa.
Yeah, when we played with Vexum,
they called us grandpa metal.
Yeah, they called us grandpa metal, and I thought that was pretty awesome.
I can live with grandma metal. I'm good with that. I've kind of earned that right, I guess. You know what I mean? But still, I do understand what you mean. I mean, we're not really spring chickens anymore, but we're still killing it.
Yeah.
But you guys, there's one thing that I have to say. I did get to see you guys back in the day. I also got to see you at Rivera Fest, as well as you guys played the day, I think, ahead of us at Backen. And I was pretty damn sure you guys were going to take that. I was pretty damn sure of it at that point. You guys really don't sound. You've kept the same vibe. Like, you guys have the old school way of thinking with new school music, and that's not always easy to do, especially when you have newer players. What's kept your vibe going to continue like the same? You guys still have the same vibe. I still want to go smash glass,
That's awesome.
go run around and with my hair on fire. And it's really awesome to see that you've continued kind of. I mean, you've really stepped up, definitely, when it comes to the talent, but you've kept that same vibe. So how have you guys kept that?
It's the music we grew up on. I guess it's the music we hear in our head, so that's the music that we're going to write. And I guess it's just coming from an older perspective, that's our roots. And when we start, writing the tune, that's, what comes out the speakers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it just goes back to, it's what excites us. So if it excites other people, that's awesome.
yeah, and if nobody listens to it, that's awesome too, because we're going to do whatever we want, regardless of what somebody wants us to do.
Yeah.
And I find the older generation sticking to their roots. I really do. When it comes to like people who have been in the industry for an awful long time, they really we've been. I don't know how many concerts I've been to, or how many bands I've fallen in love with, how many tapes and CDs and so on that I bought. But I grew up with all of that, so
Right.
and I can remember a time in our lives that we really didn't have all these different genres going on. We all listened to just whatever we listened to, and there wasn't this different level of, okay, this is metalcore, thrashcore, all this other stuff. And I really find that the older generation is really stuck to those, where they're very very open to different ideas. What from your past has kind of brought you to the music that you're doing now? Like, is there any one bands that really kind of stuck out to you, that really kind of influenced you as to who you are now?
Well, Slayer changed my life. As soon as I started hearing Slayer back in, when Show No Mercy was coming out, I was like, that's the shit right there.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. And, back then when it was young, I bought t-shirts for Jeff Hanneman. Just super cool dudes, down to earth, playing this extreme metal, going to the club. It's just a crazy party, and it's like music just spoke to me.
Yeah.
And still now I'm, throwing on an old Slayer CD and checking it out, and it's still what I prefer to listen to. Slayer, Anthrax, Exodus, Testament, anything that kind of has that old school chug.
I can't remember which album it was, but I remember when I was a kid, I found a Venom record.
Welcome to Hell?
I think it was Welcome to Hell in Goodwill of all places. And when I put that on, I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. And like everybody else, got into Metallica, but then you were like, oh, who are these bands that are covering like on Am I Evil and stuff? And then you go back and you're not only are you getting what was current to us then, I was going back and listening to what influenced them. I'm like, oh, this stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
So I think, because I don't know if younger people do that as much anymore. I don't know, but I think that's, for me at least, that's where a lot of it comes from, is what influenced the people that I really liked as a kid.
I completely agree with that. And again, being that we're a little bit older, we got to go from like I think the new generation is totally missing out on that exact
Yeah.
vibe, of walking into a record store and being able to like thumb through shit, and you'd see like a really just disturbing, evil looking album cover, and you're like, okay, I'm buying that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Without even hearing a note of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I do have a question. So you sing and play drums all at the same time. How? Like, because you're running like a marathon back there behind that drum set, right? And yet somehow you're able to belt out like some pretty wicked lyrics. You must do cardio.
Yeah, I stay in pretty good shape, and that helps keep me in good shape. But yeah, I don't know. Luckily, the singing and playing just always came naturally. I just, back in the original days of Chemical, we couldn't find any vocalists that we liked. We tried a lot of people out, and I just said I'm going to do it, and I tried it, and it was easy for me. So,
Mike is pretty big in that.
Yeah.
Look, I wear really big boots, and just trying to like count like as I'm singing so I don't like trip over my own feet, that's hard enough. But to be able to, play drums and that all at the same time, that's a hell of a talent, man. I don't think I could do it myself. Guys, just out of curiosity, what, and we were talking about, the industry back in the day. What is the most difficult, disappointing thing that's going on in our industry now? What do you, if you could change anything in our industry right now, what would that be?
Artists should get something better for streaming, because that's how people consume music nowadays. So the artist should get a reward for the people listening to their songs.
Yeah, definitely.
Besides that, the industry's probably as slimy as it's always been,
Locally, it's weird, and I don't mean any disrespect to any of the people that do this, because I get why they do it, but the cover scene is just, or I should say in particular, the tribute scene seems like it's killing original music, because you just can't get, you go to, and J-Fel does a great job. I'm not saying anything bad about him at all, but it's just, people will go in droves of those shows, and not so much the original music anymore. I mean, I used to go out 7 nights a week to go see shows, back at the Pine Street. You could always see killer bands, whether they be metal bands or alternative bands or whatever, but just seems to be lacking.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's talking about like a really, we have, here in the Pacific Northwest, we had several places we would go. The La Luna, of course everybody went to Dante's, but too, there was the Satiricon and like the Starry Nightclub and Pine Street. These are all places that unfortunately, there's our venues have, shrunk. And I think that's not helped either. And then now you have some venues that will not take all, original music at all. They're very much only, cover tribute bands or in that. And you are right, that has kind of depleted not only our sources for shows, but also our audience as well. So if you could change anything, what would you change in our industry right now?
It'd be awesome to have the ability for, more bands to play somewhere. More access, getting on stage and getting their music in front of people. Speaking of clubs, the Erebus and Kelso closed.
Yeah, that's
which
really
is a
sad too.
Yeah.
Big loss. I wonder how the Papa Zuzus is going. They just had their first show last night, I think. Cancer Slug played there.
Nice.
Hopefully that venue pops up. Then what was the place out in Division that closed? The Hard Rock, the Rock?
Rock Hard PDX.
Yeah, it was a rock and metal place, and it's gone. Satiricon was a big loss.
Yeah.
Because
that was historic.
That place back in the day had everything. And
including a pink shag carpet on the wall.
Yeah.
And the cockroaches.
We played there, and I thought the sound was actually pretty amazing, And it was like Monday or Tuesday night, and there must have been 50 people there.
Oh yeah,
maybe more. And here's these, 21, 22-year-old guys playing metal. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So clubs are a big thing. I wish there were more options, for the bands to play than the people to see the bands.
Yeah, you guys are one of the you guys are kind of one of the gems in the rough when it comes to playing. You don't mind playing with bands like mine. You know what I mean? You don't mind playing. You don't stick to like one genre where you're like, okay, no, I'm only going to play with the clique or this circle. You guys are really broadened, and you really are very accepting as to whom you guys would play with, and I think that's very admirable. There's a lot of bands out there that will only play, if you're a thrash metal band, you'll only play with a thrash metal band. I'm not saying have a tribute open for you or anything like that, because that's the one, I think that's the one boundary I actually have. I don't, because I'm original, I like to stick to original art. Tribute bands, they get paid better than me and they get better shows. So I want to stick with original acts, and it's no offense to them. I just find it, I'm not going to open for a tribute band. It just seems weird to me. And it might be study on my part. It's just, and I've had those opportunities, and it's not like, I'd be completely against it if it was a good show and a good lineup and it made sense, I would do it. But I think, I just think that's where the boundary has to lie. You know what I mean? And and the industry has set that standard as well. So
100%, yeah.
I think Mike would have us play with anybody. He was almost trying to get Chemical on the Sandy Mountain show.
Sandy Mountain Days.
And that would have blown out the crowd. One thing interesting that Chemical did back in the day, and Mike was probably the driver of this, he got us in the St. John's Parade.
No way.
2 years ago. So we're on a float, and we're playing our music, in the St. John's Parade, and the old people are like running for it, and the kids are all following the float. I mean, I don't think that's ever happened again.
There might be a reason for that.
And we did it twice.
Yeah.
And with the one time we did it, I think it was the second time we did it, we actually played the parade, and then that night we had a huge concert at Jackson Armory with Savior and who else?
We had to build the stage.
Yeah, we had to build the stage, a huge stage, set all the sound up after we had played the St. John's Parade. So we did that during the day, and then we did that other gig that night, same day. So it was, yeah. But we just played with Parabola a few weeks ago for a fundraiser for. So we played with the tribute band, and they're awesome guys, and it was great, and there was a good crowd there. But yeah, we did it for the what was the fundraiser? It was
Rebel Academy.
The Rebel Academy.
Super good cause. Getting, people that are coming out of the system, GEDs and all that. So, I mean, I was wondering ahead of time how well that was going to go over a Tool tribute band and us, but everybody seemed cool with it.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I've been in some weird positions that way too. We played the Orange County Fair, and we didn't know, this was last year, we had no idea what we were walking into, and we go in, and they're like, so you're wearing a leather vest and no shirt, you have to put a shirt on. So we had to and there was no cussing on stage, and I'm like, how am I gonna, oh my God. And then I saw the crowd, and I'm like, there's, a little Oriental lady and her husband in their walkers, and I was so nervous. I was absolutely nervous because I'm like, okay, we're going to have to change clothes, put clothes on. Okay. We can't cuss. So now I got to go change lyrics at the last minute. And I have a little Oriental grandma that's sitting right here. I'm about to scare the shit out of. I have no idea how well this is going to go. And if you want the truth, despite the fact that I had to change words, I was not, and I don't have very many cuss words in my lyrics, but I had to go, shit, and change that to something. And I'm up there and I'm looking at my friend in the audience, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, what am I going to say? I was really, really scared. And to come to find out, man, that crowd, it's strange as it was, and is, the little old lady sitting in the back, little Oriental lady sitting up front, they absolutely loved us. And for me, I was like, oh, so it's me that was judging them, not the other way around. And I just thought that was a really big lesson. And you never know, grandma can rock right on. So you know who's going to dig you and who's not. You know what I mean? You can't really judge.
Yeah, totally.
So, guys, we got a few more minutes. I want to tell everybody where they can find your music, what you guys have coming up, show-wise, and then I also would love to hear some encouragement from a bunch of, grandpas. If you want to live the stream as long as you have, how do you think people? What's the best advice you would give somebody to continue their dream?
Sure. Well, we're playing. The next show is at Cruisers. Was that Port Falls or
State Line?
Oh, State Line, Idaho.
In Idaho.
Love Cruisers. Love Cruisers.
Yep.
Guys.
Yep. We're playing with Hemlock, which is the kick-ass band from back in the day.
D'Angel and Dysfunctional Chaos.
You can find us music-wise. You can find it on Spotify, all of the streaming services. Our YouTube channel is Chemical Annihilation. We have videos up there for 5 or 6 of our songs, I think. You can tell how in tune I am. I can't even remember how many videos we have.
And then we have, it hasn't really been announced yet, but we have...
I'll put all their links in the description, guys. Sorry, didn't mean anything.
Oh, no.
In December.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the date now, 13th, 12th, 13th, whatever that Saturday is. We are playing at the Twilight Cafe with Battle Cattle, which is a local band, which is pretty awesome. And we get to play with some other guys from back in the day, the Accused AD, which is, I believe, the guitarist from the original Accused.
Wow.
And so that'll be pretty awesome. We were supposed to have a show with them a while ago, but something happened. They had to bail. So it's awesome to get a show with the Accused.
Definitely.
And Battle Cattle, metal band, pretty decent.
Yeah.
Kind of an original sound. I mean, like I was talking to those guys, I said, man, you guys are on the way up. Let us open for you. Yeah. Put together the show, and he got the Accused to come, so that was pretty rad.
Yeah, bro. And as far as advice, I mean, you just do it for the right reason, which is different for everyone, but don't do it for fame or money or any of that. Do it because you love it. And if you do it because of that, it'll never be a chore, it'll never be a disappointment. There's always going to be up and down, so you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows. And as long as you love playing music, music gives to you more than you ever get out of it. I mean, so...
And don't give up.
Yeah.
If you have a stumble or a problem, just keep on plowing through. The shit's not going to come together instantly. It's a lot of work. You got to have a lot of desire to do the stuff. And like I've told a lot of people, the number one hardest thing about being a musician and getting a band together is finding the other people to show up at the same time. Man.
Usually no offense.
Wow. I mean, so showing up is half the battle.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta show up and you gotta do the work.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how talented you are if you can't be on time and show up and do the commitment.
Because I think one of the big things I look back that I think was amazing about Chemical is when Mike and I first got together, we practiced 6-7 days a week. I don't know where we found all this time, but it was like 2 or 3 hours every single day. And it was every single day. That's just what we did.
Yeah.
We're on a pretty tight schedule like that too. We're normally, 3 days a week, every single week.
Yeah.
We just got done with, San Diego and that. But we also, with that stated, we grind and we grind and we grind. And then recently, maybe it's just because I am getting older and I'm kind of more respecting my time and jobs and all that. But we also have to have downtime, and right now that's what we're doing. We're kind of, we had to pick and choose between doing a shitload of shows, which we did last year, to the point of exhaustion, literal exhaustion, not just financially, but our mental, our physical. We were exhausted last year. So this year we kind of took a little bit of a different, turning point where we also had to start thinking about ourselves and take some time, and kind of like this week, we're taking a week off. I just started a new job. I'm not off until 1 a.m, and that was a, huge, it's you've got to be able to sleep. You have to be able to have a life outside of your band and be able to have that balance. And we're just now learning that. So it sounds to me like you guys kind of now have that balance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's extremely important, because if you're tired or physically you're exhausted, or you're worried about, how are we going to get to the next gig? Because for me, that's what I would change about the industry, is the fact that, original artists really do, if they're traveling out of town and they're traveling 22 hours, or more, there has to be some sort of give and take in this. We're coming all the way down, it's extremely expensive to travel. And so that's not the money out there that there used to be for bands. And this pay to play thing is it's frustrating as well, because especially when you're trying to break into a new area or a new city or a new town, how the hell are you going to sell tickets there? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost impossible to do. I'd rather you guys just bring me on if we work out, then, maybe I can do bigger shows there. But the pay to play thing kind of drives me nuts, because I'm like, I don't have an audience here, and I'm trying to get one, and I'm not going to be able to sell them tickets to people I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
And I think too, you're absolutely right. The lack of venues in our particular area is kind of a really sad thing. All of the big places that we used to go, and some kids went roller skating. We went to Starry Night. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's where we spent our money. So, so guys, I want to thank you very much for coming on today. We've had some really great shows that you guys just killed Rivera Fest. And I know that you guys aren't stopping anytime soon. What can we see from you in the future?
Some new music's in the works slowly. We're going to be doing that and more shows.
Yeah. Our lineup finally got stable again after Paul from Arachnid kind of decided to retire. We've gone through a couple of guitarists, but I think we're in the right space now. We got the right ages and everything. We had a younger guitarist kind of in between Paul and Jason, who's not here, who was kind of pushing us into directions that wasn't Chemical Annihilation. Parted with him, found Jason, who's, in our age range, so he knows the old school metal.
Yeah.
And that's working out good, so hopefully we can start working on the new tunes and getting things plowing ahead.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds absolutely amazing, guys. I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Band Chat today. I do reserve the right to bring you back on at another time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let us know. I'm going to go ahead and link all of their links in the description below. Please go like, subscribe, and share to their channel. And if you're new, come and hit that little ding ding wherever that ding ding is, and hit that notification button as well as the subscribe button. That way you guys know about all the new bands we're going to bring on. So once again, guys, I just want to thank you for coming on today, and I want to wish you the best of luck with what you guys are doing. The next time you guys are playing the St. John's parade, you got to call me. I've got to see this.
We should do that for all times.
Right on. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You guys have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.
I don't think there's anything more nostalgic than a badass band that has been playing for 30 years in the same industry. Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington have changed so much since the 80s, and it's really great to see bands that I watched then that I get to watch now and now get to play with. So thank you so much to Chemical Annihilation for being my guest this evening. Guys, the badassery is not going to stop here. We've got a new band that I had not heard of previously. They are from Seattle, Washington, Upwell. And I got to see them on the Lou Jack Productions channel. And if you guys have missed that, you need to go and check this out. Episode 19 is going to be with special guest Upwell. I absolutely cannot wait for this night. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you guys for joining us. If you guys are joining us here on YouTube or on Metal Cross Radio, either way, we absolutely appreciate you guys supporting us, supporting local music, and supporting your music industry. We will see you next week, but until then, don't forget to crank it up to 13, drink a cool one, kick back, and we will see you next week. Thank you guys so much. Let's go!